intro music fades slightly. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to share a story with you. It's not just any story. It's one that challenges everything we think we know about love, resilience, and what it means to truly survive. They say that when the world is burning, love isn't supposed to survive, but somehow, for some of us, it does. I never believed in love stories on the battlefield, the army. You see, it trains you, for one thing, to shut off feelings, to follow orders, to survive. It hardens you. You build walls around your heart so high, you start to believe nothing can ever get through. But then Sergeant Alina Novak was assigned to my unit, and everything I thought I knew about war and about myself, well, it just changed completely. She arrived on a cold, unforgiving morning. I remember it vividly. Her uniform was spotless, her gaze sharp as steel, cutting right through the dust and the chaos. Rumor had it she'd transferred from a special operations team after a mission had gone south. You know how rumors fly in those places, whispers that she was too serious, too cold, unapproachable. Most people avoided her, but something about the way she carried her pain, the quiet strength that emanated from her, it drew me in. I couldn't explain it then, and maybe I still can't now. It was like a magnet pulling me closer, despite all the warnings and all the instincts telling me to keep my distance. We found ourselves stationed in the same bunker. Those nights were long, filled with the distant, haunting echo of artillery fire and the soft, almost comforting hum of our radios. Sounds that usually just faded into the background, becoming a part of the oppressive atmosphere. One evening, during a sudden power outage, I found her sitting alone. The only light was the faint, flickering glow of a single candle. She was staring intently at a worn photograph, the edges soft from being touched countless times. "Your sister?" I asked softly, my voice barely a whisper in the vast silence. She didn't even look up. Her voice, when it came, was low, almost brittle. "No. My wife, she left before I was deployed again." I didn't know what to say. What do you say in a moment like that? In that kind of place, with those kinds of stakes? I just sat beside her. The silence between us, it wasn't awkward. It was heavy, meaningful. For the first time, in the dim, dancing candlelight, I saw the woman behind the soldier. The strength, yes, but also the vulnerability, the hidden scars that ran deeper than any uniform could conceal. Days blurred into weeks, and the war, in its own horrifying way, became routine. Patrols, briefings, chaos, constant fear. Through it all, Alina and I moved as one. It was uncanny, almost like we shared a single breath. She covered me during ambushes, her reflexes saving my life more times than I care to count. She pulled me out when I froze under fire, her firm hand a lifeline. And I patched her up more times than I can even remember. Somewhere between the screams, the smoke, and the sheer terror, we found comfort in each other's presence, a silent understanding, a shared burden that, paradoxically, made it lighter. One night, after a brutal skirmish that left half our team wounded, we hid in a bombed-out farmhouse, waiting for extraction. The rain poured through the broken roof, a relentless drumming that mirrored the ache in my bones. I was shaking, both from the cold that seeped into everything and the raw shock of what we'd just endured. Alina sat beside me, her presence a solid anchor in the storm. She wrapped an arm around my shoulders, her touch surprisingly gentle, and whispered, "Breathe, Lena. You're safe. I've got you." Her touch was warm, grounding. It was a jolt back to reality, a reminder that I wasn't alone. I turned to her, my eyes stinging with unshed tears. "How do you do it?" I managed to ask, my voice hoarse. "How do you keep calm when everything's falling apart around us?" She smiled faintly, a ghost of a smile that barely touched her eyes. "I don't," she confessed, her voice barely audible over the rain. "I just look for someone worth holding on to. The space between us, that invisible barrier, it just closed." Her lips met mine. Hesitant at first, a gentle question, then desperate, as if we were trying to erase every single moment of fear, every shadow of death. For a few stolen seconds, there was no war, no death, no distant artillery, only her heart beat against mine, a symphony of life in a world determined to silence it. When dawn came, creeping through the broken windows of the farmhouse, we didn't talk about it. We didn't need to. But something had changed. Irrevocably, we became inseparable, partners, not just in battle, but in everything. Every mission, every long night watch, every terrifying near-death moment only deepened this bond, this unspoken connection that we couldn't yet name aloud. Love in war is dangerous. You're taught that you can't afford attachments when death lurks behind every wall, every corner. But love, true love, doesn't ask for permission. It blooms in the mud, in whispered breaths shared in the dark, in stolen glances under the roar of gunfire. It finds a way. It always finds a way. Months later, during an evacuation, our convoy was ambushed. The world exploded around us. I remember the deafening blast, the sickening crunch of metal, and the last thing I heard before darkness swallowed me was Alina screaming my name. When I woke, it was in a field hospital, bruised, broken, but miraculously alive. But she wasn't there. For days, I searched, asking every medic, every soldier I could find. No one had seen her. My chest felt hollow, an aching void, like the world itself had stopped spinning. Then, one evening, a medic came to my cot. He handed me a note, smudged, blood-stained, folded with care. My hands trembled as I opened it. "Lena," it read, in Alina's familiar, precise handwriting. "If you're reading this, it means I didn't make it back. Don't let the war take what we found. Live for both of us." I broke down right there, clutching that note like it was her hand, still warm in mine. The world outside kept fighting, kept burning, kept moving. But inside me, some fierce, stubborn spark, refused to die. Her words were a command, a promise, a beacon. A year later, when the war finally ended, the world breathing a collective sigh of relief, I returned to the ruins of the place where we'd last been together. The sky was quiet for once, a vast, peaceful blue that felt almost alien after so much noise. I found a small wildflower bush pushing through the rubble. I left her dog tags beneath it a silent memorial. And I whispered, "You kept me alive, Alina, in more ways than one." As the wind carried my words away, I realized something profound. Love doesn't end with war. It lives on, even in the silence after the last bullet falls. It changes, it transforms, but it never truly dies. It becomes a part of you, a strength that you carry forward. This story, though born from hardship, is a testament to the enduring power of connection, even when everything around you screams despair. It reminds us that even in the darkest times, there's always something to hold on to, someone to remember, and a reason to keep living, to keep loving. Thank you so much for listening to this deeply personal story. If it resonated with you, if it touched your heart, please hit that like button. And if you want to hear more stories about resilience, love, and the human spirit, do you and forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you do not miss any of our upcoming videos. Your support means the world to us. See you next time.